Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, October 30th. So time change coming up, which we all know. But so I know automated systems send out time changes like, oh, don't forget to send your clocks back. So a lot of agents do that. They do it. Say, well, oh, I'm going to keep in touch with my clients by sending this generic email out. We recommend not doing that because you should be sending out a weekly newsletter to your clients, not just touching them in monthly and sort of things like that. So we've talked about the newsletter before. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up is make sure you're getting a newsletter out. You can use Constant Contact like we use. We have a separate regular process for that. And you can use Ricky's template. You just tell Constant Contact you want that template that Ricky has, and they'll get you set up. And just spend a few minutes every week and don't make it a big deal. Send your newsletter out to your database once a week. Touch them, whether it's by email or text, however you want to do it, just send it out. That's one thing I wanted to touch on. Second thing, I wanted to just remind everybody that there's some old training that we had. It was like 3 years ago, and it was an agent that was brand new to the business. His first year, he sold 100 homes. And the way he did it was by having a 4-point system. I'm going to share it with you right now. So having this 4-point system, it was called I call it the non-negotiable 4-point system. So without, and this was his way of not burning out, but also being productive. So you would go each day and each day resets. So on day one, you have 4 points that you're trying to get. That's a game, right? So challenge yourself to get 4 points. So how do you earn points? So one way is if you open an escrow. If you get an accepted contract and you actually go open an escrow, new contract, new transaction, that equals 4 points. And if you get that, you can take the rest of the day off. Shut down, cancel everything else if you need to, but take the rest of the day off and go enjoy yourself. So what this 20-year-old young man would do is uh, open his escrow and he'd go home and play Fortnite. So that was the way he enjoyed himself and took the rest of the day off. Whatever you enjoy doing, if you earn your 4 points, take the rest of the day off. So an escrow will equal 4 points. So if you got an escrow, that's automatically done, right? But let's say you don't open an escrow. How else do you earn points? Well, if you get a listing, that listing counts as 2 points. So you can earn 2 points by having a listing. So if you get two listings in a day, you got 4 points and you're done. So let's say I don't get listings every day. Well, you got to go work for them, right? How do you build those up to get to that point? If you've been in here earlier this week, we know we've been talking about the ABS system, your active buyers and sellers list. Give me a call if you need some help with that. So 2 points is a listing. And okay, so if it's not a listing, then another way you can earn a point is by 1 point is by having a showing. So if you show a buyer a house, that's 1 point. So then you can add that to your score for the day. So, but that's one buyer. So if you show one buyer 3 or 4 homes, that doesn't count as 4 points. That one buyer taking them out on a tour, that's your 1 point. So you'd have to have 4 buyers that you're showing homes to if all you have is buyers. Those would be your 4 points. You'd have to show 4 different buyers homes. Or you could do a listing, 2 points, and maybe show a buyer and show a different buyer. So that'd be 4 points for the day and you're done. Another way to earn a point would be if you meet a new buyer or seller that's going on your ABS list. So I would start there. You get half a point every time you add someone to your active buyer and seller list. So is your list at 25 or more? So your list should have 25 or more active buyers and sellers. If not, get to work on it and keep adding to the list. And he was so aggressive with this. And this is where he stood out from what most agents never do in their first year. It's unheard of to have an agent sell 100 homes in their first year, but he did it. So that 4-point system got him to it. He would start dialing at 8 o'clock in the morning and he would not stop because at the beginning he had no business, right? So he didn't have an escrow to open. He didn't have a listing to list, and he didn't have buyers to show. But he was able to make phone calls. That was free. He just got the phone book and started calling, or he just called the neighborhood because he couldn't even afford the phone systems, the Red X or the whatever the other ones are. So he didn't have any money to do that. He just started with the phone book and started calling neighborhoods. Um, so he would call from 8 in the morning until he got his 4 points. So he would wait until he got four. So for him, that would equal 8 interested people that he would add to his list every day. Simple, so simple. And if he got burnt out on calls, then he would go door to door knocking, or he would go to the supermarket and hand out his cards and just meet people. So he was doing whatever he could to get anybody on his list. So, and that was all part of following Ricky's system, the coaching that we get already. So by having those 4 points a day, that's how he would challenge himself to get it. And it was non-negotiable. So that's why if it got towards the end of the day, 3 or 4 o'clock, and he hadn't gotten anybody on the phones, he would go out into the public and go looking for people and hand out cards, do everything he could. Now, the rest of us are going to say, wow, that's great, but I'm not a college kid. I'm not single, and I don't know where to start. Well, I think most of everybody on our group has been in the business for some time or has already started and maybe has that list. So get with me if you need some help, but you can do it. And you just have to set your mind to it and get started on that list, and you'll start developing some good activity and get you going on your way. So anyway, that's the 4 point system I wanted to share. Again, I'll repeat it one more time. 4 points you get for having a new escrow opened. A listing equals 2 points. Showing a separate buyer on a tour, going and touring some homes with them to sell them a home, that's 1 point, but it has to be separate buyers. You can't do one buyer showing them 3 homes. That doesn't count as 3 points. It's one buyer that you take out that has a buyer agreement with you. And then the other ones, you can earn half a point by finding a new buyer or seller that's going to buy in the next 30 to 90 days. So within the next 3 months, if that's an active buyer or seller, they better be on your list. And you can, if you're adding them, you can add half a point for that. So that's your 4 point system. I hope you enjoyed that and hope it helps. Anyway, go out and have a great Thursday. Great seeing y'all. Take care. Bye now.